And this is the ethical line. How you leave matters. Did you resign properly and work out your notice? Did you honour any restraint of trade clause in your contract? Did you wait until you'd actually left before having those conversations rather than recruiting owners while you were still being paid by your old employer? Did you let the transition happen? Did you let the transition happen with some dignity, or did you burn the place down on your way out? Same outcome. Owner follows you to your new business. Can be completely ethical or completely not, depending entirely on how you got there. And here's what I really want to push. If you are doing the right thing by your clients, communicating well, being proactive, protecting their asset, showing up, it's incredibly rare for them to want to leave. Genuinely rare. The clients that you lose usually are the ones you stopped nurturing, the ones who got an automated email instead of a phone call, the ones who found out about a maintenance issue from a tenant instead of from you. Hey there, welcome to the Property Management Podcast. Thank you so much for being here. Now, I'm going to say something today that is going to make you feel a little uncomfortable. If you're losing clients to another property manager, it might be your fault. Not because you did anything illegal, not because someone stole them from you, but because somewhere along the way you might have stopped building the relationship and someone else picked up where you'd left off. And before you shake your head at me, believe me, this happened to me multiple times in my business over the 15 years I ran my own agency. And today we're going to dive into the controversial topic of poaching. What happens when a property manager leaves and takes managements with them? What happens when someone goes out and starts their own agency? And then how to actually grow ethically so none of this needs to touch your business in the first place. I'm going to take a stance. Tell you some examples from my own story, including one that still stings a bit, if I'm completely honest. And I'm going to give you the other side too, because this isn't as black and white as we all like to pretend it is. So let's get into it. The word nobody wants to say out loud in this industry is poaching clients. So let's start here, because everyone has an opinion on it, and almost nobody says it out loud in a room full of people. Poaching gets thrown around like it's a dirty word. A PM leaves, takes some managements with them, and suddenly they're the villain in everyone's group chat, everyone's Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn comments, or it's more sinister than that. Sometimes it's in the group chats from an anonymous poster, or there's whispered conversations at the next industry event. But here's my question. Is it actually poaching, or is it just someone doing their job better than you were? There's a real difference between actively targeting specific portfolio clients, sliding into an owner's inbox a week before you resign, using information you only had access to because you were employed there. That's unethical. And in a lot of cases, it's a breach of contract too. Versus an owner reaching out to you unprompted because they trust you, because you've built a genuine relationship with them over the years, and they simply want to keep working with the human who's been looking after their asset. Those are not the same thing. One is strategy and unethical. The other is a relationship doing exactly what a relationship is meant to do. So when a property manager leaves an agency and takes a management, it really hurts. Believe me, it's happened to me many times. And let me share a story with you. I've lost management after management over the years to property managers leaving, and it runs the full spectrum. Some of it has been completely ethical, and some of it's been straight up breach of contract, which, by the way, is almost impossible to actually prove unless someone's literally stolen your database. The one that still sits with me. I wasn't even in the business day to day when this particular property manager joined us. She came in incredibly strategic and brought around 50 managements across with her. 50. When I came back into the business properly, that made me nervous straight away. You don't build a portfolio like that by accident. And sure enough, when she eventually left, she took most of those managements with her and then some. What I found out later is she'd done this before. Multiple agencies across the region, the same pattern every time. She'd walk in, negotiate a hefty referral fee for the clients she brought with her, do genuinely good work. I'll give her that. She was a very good property manager. And then when the time was right, she'd pick up and move again, taking her original clients plus a few extras she'd picked up along the way, usually the ones with multiple properties. It hurt, but was I surprised? Absolutely not. And I'll tell you now, she'll do it again wherever she is right now. What made it so hard to sit with is how savvy she was about it. She wasn't sloppy. In the lead up to leaving, she over-communicated, over-serviced, tied up every loose end, and by the time she quietly let it slip she was going, her clients barely had to think twice. They already trusted her completely, and finding out where she landed took them about 5 minutes. That was not an accident either, and that was her strategy. Executed very well. Unethical 100%, but well executed. Played. And that's the frustrating part as a business owner. The legislation doesn't protect you here. It's genuinely hard to prove. And even when you know exactly what's happened, there's very little you can actually do about it. Sometimes you just have to suck it up and take the lesson. And that was a big one for me. But honestly, there were lots of small losses like this almost every time a property manager left. And that's just the nature of relationships in this industry. There was another time, though, that really tested me. A property manager who'd left started emailing my clients directly from her new agency, undercutting our fees, every quote coming in just under what they were already paying with us. Luckily for me, I had a loyal enough client base that a few of them forwarded their emails straight to me instead of acting on them. I picked up the phone and called the business owner. We had a candid conversation, let's just say that. He apologised, told me it wouldn't happen again, and to his credit, it didn't. He kept his word. That property manager just wasn't quite as cunning as the other one. But that stuff does and will continue to go on. But there is honestly enough business to go around. We're all just trying to make a living, working hard, provide for our families, enjoy some freedom. It doesn't have to be done the unethical way. And then there is, of course, the other version of this, the one that really divides a room. You've worked somewhere for years. You've built relationships with your property owners. You've been well looked after by the agency business owner. You've been paid well. You've been rewarded in bonuses. You've had days off and holidays, and you've had a great working environment provided for you. But then you decide to go out on your own. And then some of those owners naturally want to go with you. Here's my stance. If an owner chooses to follow you, that's not theft. That's them exercising the same right that you have to choose who manages your business. Owners aren't assets on a spreadsheet. They're not owned by an agency. They have a legal right to choose their property manager, full stop. But this episode is proudly supported by ALO. And if you've been listening to the show for a while, you've probably noticed what I've noticed. The property managers doing the most interesting work right now keep mentioning the same platform. And I saw it close up at the Harcourt Solutions study tour in Brisbane. The way teams talk about their day has changed. And if you want to hear it for yourself, ALO hosts after-hours intimate events at Mecca stores across Australia, where you can listen to property managers share their own story. So book a demo at alo.io, that's AILO.io, and ALO will send you a Mecca gift card to say thanks. And this is the ethical line. How you leave matters. Did you resign properly and work out your notice? Did you honour any restraint of trade clause in your contract? Did you wait until you'd actually left before having those conversations rather than recruiting owners while you were still being paid by your old employer? Did you let the transition happen? Did you let the transition happen with some dignity, or did you burn the place down on your way out? Same outcome. Owner follows you to your new business. Can be completely ethical or completely not, depending entirely on how you got there. And here's what I really want to push. If you are doing the right thing by your clients, communicating well, being proactive, protecting their asset, showing up, it's incredibly rare for them to want to leave. Genuinely rare. The clients that you lose usually are the ones you stopped nurturing, the ones who got an automated email instead of a phone call, the ones who found out about a maintenance issue from a tenant instead of from you, the ones who felt like a number on a rent roll, not a relationship. So when a competitor wins that client, did they poach them or did they just show up where you didn't? And I know that's a hard pill. But I think we spend so much energy being angry at the PM who took the client and not nearly enough energy asking why that client was ready to leave in the first place. And now let me be fair, because there's a real other side to this as well. Not every client leaves because of bad service. Sometimes it really is a slick sales pitch, a shiny promise of a lower fee, a smooth talking BDM who says all the right things and delivers none of them 6 months later. Owners get poached by charisma, not competence, all the time. And that's not a reflection on the PM or the business that they left. And agencies do have a right to protect their business. Restraint of trade clauses, non-solicitation agreements, proper exit processes, these exist for a reason. And just because you personally built a relationship with an owner doesn't mean the business you worked for has no claim to protect what they built too. Both things can be absolutely true at the same time. So this isn't this industry is broken, nobody has any loyalty rant. It's more nuanced than that. It's play it straight, respect the process, and if you're on the receiving end of a loss, get curious before you get angry. And let's talk about prospecting now the right way, because you can't really talk about poaching without the other side of it, and that is prospecting. So how do you grow your business and prospect for new managements and build a genuinely strong pipeline without needing to do any of the stuff that we just talked about? Because here's the truth. There is more than enough business out there. I've said that earlier. You do not need to play dirty to build a thriving portfolio. You just need to be visible, valuable, and consistent. First, be visible in a market in a way that has nothing to do with anyone else's clients. Content, community presence, showing up consistently on social media, local Facebook groups, community events, sponsoring your local footy team, whatever that looks like for you. You're not targeting anyone. You're just making sure that when someone in your area is unhappy with their current property manager, and someone always is, you're the name that comes to mind, and not because you chased them, because you were already there. Second, work on your referral relationships. One of the most underused prospecting tools in our industry, and it drives me a little crazy because it's sitting right there. Sales agents, mortgage brokers, conveyancers, accountants, buyers agents, people already in conversation with property owners, investors every day. If they trust you, they'll send business your way for free with zero ethical grey area, because it's an owner making their own informed choice based on a trusted recommendation, and that's powerful. Third, leverage your own database. I talk about this all the time in my PM Accelerate, and I do a lot of training on this. Your past applicants, your old inquiries, your existing owners who might have other properties or know other investors. So many agencies are prospecting outward when they haven't even mined what is sitting right there inside their own CRM or even inside your own phone. Fourth, respond brilliantly to inbound inquiry. If somebody messages you because their current PM dropped the ball, missed a maintenance issue, went quiet for 3 weeks when the property was vacant, have an actual process for that response. Don't let that warm lead go cold because nobody followed up. Build a system around every lead and every bit of inquiry that comes into your business. And fifth, work on your reputation. Reviews, testimonials, word of mouth. Slow prospecting, it is, but the most powerful kind, because by the time someone recommends... And fifth, work on your reputation. Reviews, testimonials, word of mouth. It is slow prospecting, but the most powerful kind, because by the time someone calls you off the back of a 5-star review or a friend's recommendation, they're already half convinced. And what none of this looks like. Calling a landlord because you saw their for lease sign go up with someone else's agency on it. Bad mouthing another agency to win a listing. Working your way through a spreadsheet of someone else's owners because you happen to remember the names, or worse still, have the login. That's not prospecting. That's poaching. Wearing a business casual outfit. And if there's one thing I want you to walk away with today, it's this. The best protection against ever losing a client isn't a tighter contract or a better exit clause. It's the relationship. Build that properly and poaching becomes a non-issue because nobody can poach loyalty. Send me your thoughts on this one. I know I've probably got some of you all fired up. I would love to hear your opinion on it. Thanks for being here. Can I ask you a quick favour before you leave this episode? Now, we all know how important reviews are for businesses these days, and mine is no different. If you could spare just a minute to follow, rate and review this podcast, it would mean a lot to me. In fact, what would get me super excited is if you share this podcast with someone in the industry who you think might need to hear some of the episodes right now. And if you'd like to find out more about working with me or any of the products I have to help you start, grow or scale your property management business, head to my website, thatpropertymum.com.au, or check out the links in the show notes.